Hey, what's going on? It's Rick from Metagamers, and Apple has finally released a new case for their iPad 2 and third generation iPad. Not sure if it's what I expected, but it's called the iPad Smart Case, and not to be confused with the smart cover that you see right here. Smart cover, of course, is going to run you about $39 for the polyurethane version and $69 for the leather version. The smart case is going to run you $49, so $10 more than a smart cover. And it comes in a variety of different colors. You saw the packaging that it comes in. I'm taking it out right here. And the big deal about this is that it's basically a smart cover with a back to it. And the inside of it is a very, very soft microfiber lining. This is not, I repeat, it's not a hard shell. What I could compare this to, for those of you guys who are familiar with it, the very first case that Apple made for the first gen iPad, this is pretty similar to it, I would say. And the way that this is going to work is you just slide your iPad into this case, and you're going to need to work the edges into it. So it takes a little bit of effort, not too much. And once you've snapped everything into place, kind of your bezel disappears and you can see the silver has disappeared there. So that's what it's gonna look like. It does incorporate the sleep awake feature. So when you close this up, this is what it's gonna look like. Now here's my first complaint about this case. Notice how there's no real good area to pull open this front flap. So you kind of have to dig your finger under there to get it open. And while that might be a minor complaint for some, coming from Apple, I expect more because, of course, Apple's always really thought through innovation and just making things easy to use. And so this isn't necessarily the easiest to open and close. I'm also going to call out that there's no sort of a magnetic strip back here. So your flap is just going to kind of flip open just like that. So you'll have to hold it closed. Now on the plus side, it is rather thin, and it doesn't really add bulk or weight. But again, coming back around to this, if you give it a shake, you're going to notice that that front flap is going to open up. So it does hold it closed, but again, if you give it a shake, that front flap opens up. And I find that that is actually, it's not as strong a hold as just using a smart cover. And again, probably due to the fact that you've got this bezel here that covers. Now I do find, and this is a third generation iPad, that it pulls away from the corner just a little bit, and I'm finding myself having to go back in there and kind of reclose or re-snap it in place, I would say. This acts just like a smart cover, so when you fold it around, you can actually use it in your stand mode just like that, and also go into your kind of standing mode here up and down. So you've got both your typing angle as well as your viewing angle, just like you would with the smart cover. So it is attached. There is no kind of metal hinge here like we found with just the smart cover, and that works okay. But these edges are kind of rough, and it just doesn't give a real good feel in the hand. It's kind of rough, slightly abrasive, and you can just kind of hear it. It just doesn't really stand out in my mind as quality. Your speaker is covered. There's no diminishing of sound, and your ports are accessible, as you can see here, but they're really deep, which is kind of curious. And you're going to have some issues potentially with trying to use docks or things like that with this. A straight in plug seems to work okay, but it's not all that great in my opinion. It's kind of deep again. Here's the side. This is not anything but a raised up area of the material, so it kind of bubbles out. You still get tactile feel, and it works just fine for your volume controls, and it's outlined, so that's kind of nice that they did that. And there's your rocker switch. Camera right up along the top. Sleep awake or power is also covered. Your microphone, of course, is cut out and aligned perfectly. Again, really kind of deep and cavernous there with your cutout for your headphone jack. So that can be kind of tricky to insert your headphones into from time to time there. And then, of course, on the back, your matching color with kind of this just white stamped on Apple that you can see there. So, you know, I don't know. I expected a heck of a lot more from Apple in creating a case like this, especially since they are so late to the game with this smart case. There's so many other options out there that I would really have a hard time recommending this to anybody at the $49 price tag. There's so many better options that you can go out there with to pick up just a smart cover if you really want that, and then add a back shell that's going to give you better protection and better coverage. You can kind of see what I mean, how it's pulling away there again when I do that. So it's not screaming Apple to me, to be honest with you. So I'm giving this case a 3 out of 5. Pretty much disappointed by this. If you're a truest to the Apple brand and you don't want to go with third party, then yeah, I guess maybe this is the case for you. But there's so many other better options out there. I don't like how it pulls away from the side. And I also don't like the fact that those inserts are so deep and cavernous. So that is the Apple Smart Case. It's available now for about $49. If you guys have questions, comments, or feedback, please feel free to let me know. Otherwise, take care, everybody, and have fun.